So Jaguar Wright is back, and she showed up to the Diddy's trial. Now, she showed up to the trial with some tapes that she wants to provide to the jury and the judge. It's supposedly some tapes of Bashir Gray and him being taken advantage of, alright? So, without further ado, let's get straight into this video right here. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and let's see what they're talking about.
Trial is opening up. People keep making this all about Diddy rather than looking at everything that's happening around it. There's a lot of people that want to protect the Diddy agenda because it serves them, because allegedly they're all accomplices. Like I said last year, after the Cassie Diddy case was made public for the world to see on CNN.
If Kim Porter hadn't done what she done, there would be no Cassie to testify.
You know, Mr. Combs, SC and SC, thing 1 and thing 2. They've been covering each other's ass a long time, guys. Y'all don't see what's going on? The death of Angie Stone, Clive Davis, Diddy, Rock Nation on the verge of utter collapse.
I'm not gonna lie, that the death of Angie Stone was one thing that was like, it was pretty obvious as to what was going on, because she came out and literally exposed her own record deal on how they were stealing money for decades. And once she realized and wanted to take action is when her life was taken by some random accident. You see it constantly happening. It's crazy.
What happened to Tory? Find a way to blame it on him. Now all of a sudden he was trying to start a race. Just so happens that he gets half the day as the Diddy trial is opening up.
See, they trying to sell him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Jaguar Wright isn't letting up on Diddy at all because she just crashed his trial and provided the prosecutors with some never-before-seen tapes of Diddy freaking off with Bryshire Gray when he was just 17. Jaguar has been on Diddy's neck about Bryshire way before he was arrested, so there was no way she was gonna watch him go down without making the world know what he did to that poor boy. Now Bryshire is on Twitter selling himself on OF for chicken change, even though he could have been the next big actor in Hollywood. According to Jaguar, Diddy and Will Smith allegedly took turns busting through Bryshire. And when they were done wrecking him apart, they passed him around the industry to other powerful people till they turned him out. Cat Williams didn't lie when he said, P. Diddy be wanting a party and you gotta tell him no. Now for those of y'all who are still somehow out of the loop about what happened to Bryshire, he was handed to Diddy and Will for a mentorship program when he was 17, but barely any mentorship happened while he was with them. His then manager, Charlie Mack, wanted Diddy to build up his music career while Will helped him with his acting career. But according to Jaguar,
we're not fully grasping how sad a situation is like that, bro. Like when you have someone that's like younger looking for some mentorship because they truly want to chase their dreams, and they end up getting bent over and taken advantage of by multiple grown-ass men, there's no coming back from that one, bro. Because now we're talking about your sexuality and your masculinity, bro. Having that stripped from you that's a very sad place to be.
they freaked off with him the whole time and left him soulless by the time they were done with him. She first spilled the tea about this when she accused Will and Diddy of using their so-called mentorship programs to trick young boys into freak-off activities in exchange for a chance to make it big in the industry. Jaguar said one time these freak-offs got so brutal that Bryshire and Meek Mill were heard by Will's neighbors running out of Will's house with no clothes on and screaming for help. It's unclear why exactly they were running out of there, but people believe the alleged freak-off had been going on for hours at that point, and it was beginning to take them in and out of consciousnness. And considering the fact that Cassie recently admitted to the freak-off, sometimes lasting up to 4 days, this rumor sounded believable to a lot of folks.
They're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house screaming.
Nah, I think Meek Mill's a little bit different though. It seems like he keeps going. He was continuously going back to Diddy. You know what I'm saying? There was something there that he was liking. You know, he agreed to something. And he wasn't turning away from the agreement.
That's the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed out.
What's even crazier about this is that Terrence Howard, who was Bryce Shear's co-star on Empire back when Bryce Shear was first introduced to Diddy and Will, recently made some comments about powerful people in the industry sleeping with young men in exchange for industry favors. And people believe he was talking about Bryce Shear.
You know, well, when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time.
Yeah,
you
that's
give up
crazy,
that right
bro.
for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
Now, as I said, people don't think any mentorship actually happened because after Bryce Shear got out of it, he was never the same again. He was thrown out of the industry, barely got any roles, and the next thing we heard was of him getting into multiple legal issues and even DVing his girlfriend. For example, in 2022, he was arrested and found guilty for aggravated assault against a woman he was hooking up with at that.
Bro, you see what this shit does to a person, bro? Like we see what it does. Like it is much deeper than just a physical act. That joint will mess you up spiritually. Shit is insane. It's like he went into the industry and left it with nothing and just damaging himself. And it happens to so many people, bro. Because a lot of the mentors and the people leading the industry are complete demons. We're seeing the shift now. You know what I'm saying? There's more independent creators. There's more people paving the way, making money through their creativity and just through using the internet. But before, people didn't really have that. Just like 15 years ago, you had to like have some sort of leeway through a mentorship or knowing a person that was a part of the label, and they gonna want that. They're gonna want that from you. They're gonna want you to get bent over. They're gonna take that from you, bro.
Time. But this wasn't his first run-in with the law because back in 2020, his wife was rescued by a man at a nearby gas station after she had gone there asking for help. People didn't even know he got married till this mess came up. She told the police that Bryce Shear strangled her. When the police pulled up to his house to arrest him, he refused to come out of the house. It took hours of negotiations between the SWAT team and Bryce Shear to get him to come out of the house. And when his mugshots were released, people couldn't believe how much of a mess he was looking like.
One of the stars of the hit show Empire. Tonight we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had her for hours inside their Goodyear home. The bizarre jailhouse interview lasting for 2 hours as they try to piece together a chaotic chain of events.
And as if things couldn't get any messier, Jaguar came back again right when all this was happening and gave even more details about what Diddy and Will allegedly put Bryce Shear through. She confirmed the allegations about Charlie Mack being a link between Bryce Shear and the people who were touching him. But this is where things get even crazier. Jaguar also revealed that the reason Charlie was able to pull that off in the first place was because Bryce Shear's mom, Andrea Mayberry, was also in on it, and she allowed everything to happen.
Damn.
And when I say Andy, I'm talking about Bashir's mom. I'm gonna kick you in your and I'm gonna go to work North Philly style. You and Charlie. You happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell. I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life, and what you had to do with it. You CI that came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to help her get Bashir out of California into Chicago State to be ready for filming. She knew what Will did to him.
Jaguar also claimed that after Cassie filed her lawsuit, Bryce Shear was also in talks with lawyers to file a lawsuit against Will and Diddy, but he was allegedly and had to pull back from it because his life was in danger. Jaguar even went as far as...
And the thing with these videos too, we're listening to Jaguar Wright saying what she's saying. We know what she's alluding to, saying that Will Smith had, taken Bashir's man card. He say, she say, but all we can do is just see the track record of these people, who they hung around, who they were really close with, and who they associated with, because it does show a lot. You know what I'm saying? It does show a lot. You gonna tell me that Will Smith was this close with Diddy and he didn't know what Diddy was doing, vice versa, or do you think they're partaking in very similar actions?
And had to pull back from it because his life was in danger. Jaguar even went as far as claiming that there was a secret tape of Justin Bieber, Will, Jaden, Diddy, and Bryce Shear having a freak-off, and she is one of the few people who has seen it.
Him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Wow.
Okay. I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor cap was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up, well, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a filial. You're a big old and they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bashir conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Belial and I asked Belial to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his book.
And now when it comes to the exact lawsuit she was talking about, people believe it's the $50 million lawsuit against Diddy and Will, which Bryce Shear was previously reported to be working on. This suit was revealed by a blind item, and it read, "I suspect the soon-to-step-forward male victim of sexual by this A-list mogul will not be the last man to do so, Sean Diddy Combs." Now, when it comes to the tapes of Bryce Shear that she crashed the trial with, word on the street is she didn't get them to play in court, but she was able to hand it over to the prosecutors, and they are working to subpoena Bryce Shear so he can come in as a witness and testify against Diddy in court. In fact, prior to her entering the courtroom, she was spotted outside, and baby,
But that would be freaking crazy. If he's testifying in court,
she came through with bodyguards to protect her just in case Diddy's people tried to jump her. She is one of the loudest names in this case, so you can bet that his family knows who she is, and they'll not be happy to see her there. Jaguar said Diddy's downfall is going to be a downfall for the sick people in the industry, and she isn't going to let up until every single one of them is brought to justice.
I do believe there's going to be a lot of curveballs. I do believe there's going to be a lot of interesting things. And what I will say is, be vigilant. We're getting started.
Is this a reckoning for the music industry?
Oh, it needs to be. And if it wasn't, I hope my presence starts that.
She also said the reason why Diddy wasn't caught years ago is because the...
Hey, bro, Jaguar Wright means business. I mean, just her showing up says a lot, bro.
authorities failed to properly investigate the R. Kelly case, because if they did, they would have pieced it together that Diddy was getting up to the same things too. Unfortunately, it took Cassie filing her lawsuit for them to wake up and investigate Diddy. And within weeks of them doing it, they discovered so many things that should have already been exposed.
This case that happened in the R. Kelly case, because if that had been properly addressed, this would have been addressed back then. These people have been working together, all in cahoots for all of this time, and it needs to all be addressed. I'm glad it's not just me anymore. I'm glad it's someone else. I'm glad there are other people who need to be heard. I'll be sure. I'm glad they're hearing him, Cassie. I'm glad they're hearing her, Kim Porter, through I'll be sure. I'm glad, Natanya Rubin, I'm glad. All of these things. So yeah, it's mixed emotions, but I just know when you pray for something and God answers it, you should be happy.
As usual, people had their own thoughts, like this person who said, absolutely come forth. What they did to him was horrific and wrong. He should reclaim his life, seek justice, get mental help, compensation, and rise like a phoenix despite them. Broke my heart to see the damage they caused the young man. Another person said, Jag has bigger balls than all the men who have ruled the world unchecked. All the parents who sold their child's soul for fame will reap what they have sown. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think?
Bro, selling your own child's soul for fame, putting them in the industry, or at least aligning them with people that you know is gonna do them dirty, is despicable. Nah, literally is despicable for real. Like, I can't even grasp the mindset of a parent that would do that. You get what I'm saying? I really can't. I feel like as a parent, you can at least try, to help your child out and be successful, keep them away, guide them properly. But they're like throwing them into the danger and the harm, which is just weird to say the least. But hey, comment down below what you guys think about this entire video right here and everything that was mentioned. Jaguar Wright is on their necks. She's not letting up. I'm not gonna lie, it's been some years now, like 3+ years definitely, that I've been seeing Jaguar Wright expose a lot of things in the industry, and a lot of things are definitely going to be coming to light very, very soon. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can catch when I drop another video for you guys. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.